It is useful so that you know you have a protocol that's dialed in and that is right for you, and that it's to the fullest extent, dialed in to the fullest extent, to look at if TRT isn't like this for you, you have a problem. And it's everything, by the way. It's everything. It's erections in the middle of the night, nocturnal erections. How frequent are they? Do you get them 5 days a week? Do you get them 7 days a week? Erections in the morning. Yeah, obviously this is important, but how frequent should you be getting them so that you can determine, okay, I'm on the right TRT protocol. I'm fully dialed in. And importantly, if you're not getting them at a particular frequency, you have a problem. Random erections. Okay, they can be psychogenically induced, they can be induced to the touch, and they can happen spontaneously. How often should you get them? Libido. Where should your libido be however many days of the week so that you can fully say, hey, I've got a fucking good TRT protocol here and I'm dialed in. But also, sometimes it becomes difficult to dial in the sexual function part of TRT while still maintaining the energy and the anabolism. So we should talk about that as well, because you want both. You want primal teenage style libido and erections, and you want energy and anabolism that's sufficient as well. Masculinity. Guess what? When estradiol gets too high, you start thinking your girlfriend's cheating on you. You start acting like a woman in conversations with a girl, and you don't have your stoic, cool, calm, cold masculinity. You've got to have that too. So let's break this down really so that people can assess, do I have the right TRT protocol? All right, this channel is about strategy and dialing in sexual function, but I also want to make sure everybody knows and takes a look at the protocol and themselves and goes, hey, can it be better? Is it not quite great? And what can I do to change it? Let's get into it. All right, before we start the video, look, Cortex Labs, which is my company, is a TRT guidance and sexual dysfunction resolution company. Got a wide variety of products related to TRT. Number one, coaching. Look, if you need to hire me to fix libido and erection problems, sexual function, get it back to those teenage primal years, that is what I do. We'll get it sorted. We have 3 month, 6 month, 1 year packages, and they're all right now 50% off. The code for that is Cyber50. That's an extension for the Cyber Week. Codes and links are down below. Hey, source list. Sometimes you need to circumvent the clinic and get anything that you might want. Testimony ester, DHT, Proviron. It's all there, and it's 50% off. Code is Cyber50. Lastly, if you need to dial in on cream, I created the instructional video course specifically for sexual function. Rock hard erections, great libido on cream. That course is 50% off right now. All right, that special ends very soon. Go take advantage of it. Links are down below. All right, let me just start off by saying some people accept mediocre TRT protocols, right? The sex stuff. Erections are there. They're okay for penetrative sex. Use a little bit of Cialis. No real big problem, right? But libido, kind of meh. It's not like you're driven fucking viscerally to have sex with your partner. You're not compelled a good degree of the time when you're with them. Energy, anabolism, so you feel pretty good. You know, why fix it if it isn't quite broken? Well, the answer to that question is because it can be amazing. You can have erections in the middle of the night, every night. Erections in the morning, every morning. Libido, 5 to 7 days a week. Masculinity, strength, anabolism, energy. You could have your cake and eat it too with TRT. All right, so let's talk about this, because I want to influence people not to settle for an okay TRT protocol. Because believe me, especially as you start dialing in using the golden rule, getting enough DHT, getting estrogen in range, having functional testicles, the right neurosteroidal support, you'll have a much better time. You could be fully dialed in, like a natty is in terms of sexual function, just crazy libido and erections like at their peak, but also the added benefit of anabolism and energy and masculinity, which comes only from TRT. Brothers, let's get into the criteria. Basically, I'm going to lay out, if your TRT protocol isn't like this, you've got a problem. All right, number one, erections in the middle of the night. Okay, from my point of view, a fully dialed in TRT protocol mandates that you have erections in the middle of the night 5 to 7 nights a week. Okay, it is okay if you don't have a nocturnal erection a couple days a week. You know, that's fine. Estrogen might fluctuate a little bit. Hormones are going to fluctuate. Again, you have a diurnal rhythm if you're doing it right, where you peak in the morning and you start to trough at nighttime. But sometimes, for whatever reason, you know, hormone levels kind of might fluctuate, even if you're on a good set it and forget it protocol. And 2 days out of the week, you don't get nocturnals. But 5 days of the week, you should be waking up at 3 in the morning, like to go to the bathroom, and you have an erection, or you have an erection when you get back in the bed. This happens to me pretty much every night, but there might be a night or two where it doesn't happen. But you want to aim for this. Remember, nocturnal erections oxygenate and supply blood to the organ to keep it healthy. It's your only buffer. to prevent penile fibrosis and ultimately ED, that comes with age. You got to keep the penis healthy, man. Nocturnal erections are the best way to do that. There are studies on this. Sildenafil, which is Viagra, taken at bedtime significantly increases nocturnal erections. This is a result of a placebo-controlled study. And this is in people, okay, that have good sleep efficiency, so they sleep fine, but they have erectile dysfunction, which is going to cause fibrosis of the penis. Because if you're not getting, if you're not getting erect, you're not supplying blood flow. The organ ultimately ends up dying until you have to then go revive it later, which is harder to do. It takes sildenafil at night. They've got nocturnal erections, man. This is important for the health of the penis. Erections in the morning. Okay, let's talk about erections in the morning. It's the same concept. No, you do not have to be waking up with automatic ragers to be dialed in on TRT. I don't wake up with automatic ragers all the time, but a good degree of the week, 3-4 days, maybe 5 days, you should have some ragers. And they don't necessarily have to be automatic. They can be induced psychogenically. You can be next to your partner, or they can be induced by touch you or your partner. But in the morning, you certainly should have sustenance in erections. And the reason for that is because it tells us that estrogen is in the right place, because in the morning you should be troughing if you're on something like cream or prop, or if you're doing your TRT protocol right, which means estrogen is troughing, but you should still have enough DHT. Okay, that's the mark of being dialed in. Lower end estrogen, right? But within range where you feel comfortable, there's no side effects, and high DHT. If those things are right, you will easily achieve erections in the morning. Like if you have a TRT protocol where you're okay for sex, libido is okay, but you don't have nocturnals, or you don't wake up like any day of the week with an erection that's easily inducible, or it spontaneously arises, you have a problem. And you could be dialed in a lot further. And frankly, you're starving your penis of oxygen and blood flow, which is going to probably lead to fibrosis and ED later in life. So you want to nip that in the bud now. Get those morning erections, get the nocturnal straight. That is a marker for a good TRT protocol. All right, let's talk about random erections throughout the day. I think some folks think if I don't have them, then I'm not quite dialed in. A lot of folks that have sexual dysfunction from hair loss drugs will come through and we'll get everything resolved, but there won't be spontaneous erections that just pop up in the middle of the day. First of all, that might take time with continued being on the right protocol that gets your libido, your erections back, your sensitivity back, and climax back. In some cases, folks may need to do penile rehab, use a little Cialis, little pumping every day, every other day, 5-10 minutes at a medium gauge. And then the spontaneous stuff comes back, believe me. But it isn't a marker for a bad TRT protocol. You don't have to have spontaneous erections that are popping up out of nowhere. Frankly, that might just be reserved for when we were 16, 17 and everything was really, really peaking and estrogen was in the right place. It's nice to have them. I do not have them every day. They just fucking pop up out of nowhere, but they do come about. You don't have to have them all the time. Okay, so don't use that as a marker. Use the nocturnals, the morning erections, and the rest of the stuff we're going to talk about. Now, I want to make it clear, that isn't to say, though, that through psychogenic erections or through touch that you shouldn't have random erections. You definitely should. But they don't pop up out of nowhere. They're induced psychogenically via thoughts or whatever, or by touch. Now, libido. Let's talk about libido. This is one of the most important things besides erections, obviously, to determine if you're on the right TRT protocol for you. Listen, 5 to 7 days out of the week, you should have a pretty strong libido. Yeah. You should be compelled to have sex with your partner, compelled to masturbate, interested in the things that you're seeing, women that you're seeing that are out there in the wild. It should provoke a visceral response where your libido turns on. That feeling of libido, everybody knows what that feels like when your brain, the sex organs, everything just sort of works together to ultimately formulate this drive for sex. You should have that a good degree of the week on TRT. If you don't, you have a problem. Either estrogen is too high, either DHT is far too high and estrogen's low, like you're crushing it with an AI, or you're on too low of a dose, but DHT somehow is super high. You're dosing some exogenous DHT, but estradiol sitting at like 15. You're not going to have the best libido there. 20 to 30. 25 to 27 picograms per milliliter of estradiol, high-end DHT, or slightly superphysiologic. That's where you're going to get the best libido. You want to be compelled to have sex a good degree of the time. That is a healthy marker of male sexual health that you fucking absolutely want, man. It makes you whole. You have energy, anabolism, confidence, all this other stuff, erections. You need the libido part. Because if you have erections and energy and anabolism, but your libido is shot, you are not dialed in. Make no mistake, you are not dialed in on TRT. All right. And it doesn't take dopaminergic drugs like cabergoline or dopaminergic supplements like macunapurines to induce libido. You can't just feed yourself dopamine or dopamine precursors and expect to have libido. That's not how it fucking works. Libido is a whole limbic system, hypothalamic, dopamine-driven thing, which is influenced heavily by sex hormones, specifically DHT and estradiol. The estrogen in range, or maybe slightly above range. It's kind of different between folks, but most folks got to be in that 20 to 35 range. Picograms per milliliter, estradiol, sensitive. Get the DHT to 75. Get it to 90. You're going to have fucking great libido. I see, as an aside, I just want to make it clear, compared to cypionate and enthate, comparing to cream gives people the highest libido. Why would that be? Well, because it kind of controls estrogen if the dose is right and gives you loads of DHT. It's the recipe for libido. Make no mistake, too, DHT. DHT is what drives your libido. Think about this. If DHT is what drives your masculinity, DHT is what drives your facial hair growth, DHT is what drives your cold, calm, stoic, confident state, how isn't it that DHT doesn't drive also your drive for women? DHT is what makes you attracted to women and their femininity, their estrogenic nature, boys. Okay? Please take that away. Energy. All right, so libido. Yeah, 5 to 7 days of the week, you should be strongly compelled to have sex. If your protocol isn't like that, you have a problem and you got to further dial in with the principles I've discussed in this video regarding DHT and estradiol. Let's talk about energy. Listen, assuming you sleep well and you nourish yourself, with healthy, real foods, occasional cheat days, 2 cheat days a week is totally fucking, that's what I do. But the rest of it, it's salads and great food. And you don't do things to fuck up your energy, like drinking 4 to 6 beers a night. Well, that's going to mess up your energy, man. It's just, there's no way you're going to have solid energy. Assuming you're not doing all that shit and you're doing some of those things right, you should have energy from the moment you apply, if you're using cream or inject, generally from the morning until the late evening. Yeah, let me give you a good example of how I feel. So I use Test Cream. It's 5 pumps, 3 pumps on the forearm, 2 on the scrotum. I'm using 166 IU of HCG every day, injected subcutaneously, and using 20 milligrams DHEA every day. Occasionally that protocol, now at this point, it's like every 8-9 days, my E2 will drop a little low, libido will suffer. I'll throw in a 20 to 40 milligram injection of Test-Cypionate. That's just a hybrid that ends up working for me on the spot. Libido comes right back. But on this, from the morning, I wake up feeling great if I slept well and ate well. I apply the cream. It's 11:43 in the morning here right now, just so you guys know. And since 8 a.m. when I applied the cream, I felt like a fucking animal. I feel great. Look at me. I'm going to the gym after this, and I can't wait to go. That's how you should feel on TRT. So it's not that you can have erections and libido and stuff, but you got to sacrifice your energy. No, you can find the in-between spot where you have everything. That's what you want to shoot for on TRT. And if you don't have it, something's wrong. Now, DHT does drive the energy, but I will say, because we don't give testosterone much credence here, I mean, we do, but it ultimately converts to metabolites, and that's what controls the sexual function. Testosterone is really, really necessary for the energy component of things. And I mean, not to continuously say cream is better than everything, but cream is better than everything. Cream with that swift peak in test and DHT and dopaminergic brain activity, you get a lot of energy. It's a big jump, and you feel that swift peak. And with cream, as an example, it stays physiologic throughout the day and then only starts troughing at night just enough to give you a break from aromatization while you still have DHT. That's why cream's fucking awesome. But generally, you want to have energy all day. I don't start getting tired till like 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, when I'm laying in bed with my girl and it's like we're watching TV, we're watching some YouTube or whatever, we're chatting about the business of life, which we do often. Then the tiredness kicks in. And that's how it's supposed to be. You guys on steady state that don't have great libido and erections, but your energy's fucking awesome all the time, it's just not natural. Right? Because your testosterone levels, no hormones like fluctuate much whatsoever. You're sitting at 10 o'clock at night with fucking steady state everything. And you're wired and might be a little hard to sleep. It's just unnatural. Okay. You want to trough at night, but you want to have energy all day. Masculinity. Listen, there are certain characteristics of a centered masculine man. He's stoic. He's indifferent. Importantly, emotionally in control. By the way, guys, estradiol out of whack prevents all of this. It prevents you from being emotionally in control. It prevents you from being cool, calm, centered, and stoic. High DHT, on the other hand, and estrogen in its place. You got to put estrogen in its place, man. Like figuratively and literally. Put it in its place. It's not meant to be fucking dominating your hormone profile. DHT is. DHT up there, estrogen in place. You have the masculinity. You have the confidence. You have the stoicism. You have the emotional control. You have the assertiveness to get shit done. You have the aggression to be a man. That's what it takes for us. We're moving the boulders. We're shooting the house invaders. You know, we're doing a lot of the legwork, man. We need that aggression. DHT in the right place, estrogen in the right place. That's what drives it. And you can have it all. The erections, the libido, the energy, and the masculinity. Let's talk about anabolism. Anabolism. Now, look, people have to do a variety of different things to get estrogen in range if they can't tolerate estrogen reduction agents like aromatase inhibitors or DHT derivatives. One of those things is they've got to go on a lower end dose of testosterone, which reduces anabolism, obviously. However, even if it's cypionate and you find the right dose, like say you're not using an AI of it, HCG, some DHEA, and erections, libido are great there because, I mean, you know, a lot of that stuff, like it peaks slowly, then it troughs slowly. You kind of get more androgen receptor activation is what I would assert based on the pharmacokinetics of something like testosterone cypionate. You're going to be more anabolic anyway. So, you know, if you're at 115, 120, you'll be anabolic enough. Yes, you know, a little more than an addy, right? You should be in a place where you are stronger and can put on muscle because you have more protein synthesis and generally more energy and you recover quicker than an addy. You definitely want. What's the point of being fucking on TRT if you just feel like a mere mortal? Dialed in the point where all those other things are great, but you have the strength and you have the anabolism too, where you can grow. You can slowly grow your body. And your physique looks good. Never settle, okay, for like a test dose that's so low just because you got to get estrogen in range where you're not getting the other benefits of TRT. If that's the case, you have to go on cream. I've seen those cases, you know, where people go so low to try to get estrogen in range, but their total test is sitting at 454. Their DHT is ultimately pretty low. They have next to no anabolism or no anabolism. Oh, but estrogen's in range. Yeah, it's, you know, the long ester isn't driving with you. It's over converting to E2, not enough to DHT. That's where you get on cream. And believe me, the anabolism with cream is pretty fucking awesome. So you can have it all, and you want to shoot to have everything. The erections, most nights in the middle of the night, morning erections, a good degree of the mornings, libido 5 to 7 days a week. You want to be compelled to have sex with your partner or compelled and driven to have sex. You want energy, assuming everything else is right. You eat well, you nourish yourself, you don't fucking drink a ton, you don't treat your body like shit. You should have energy from the moment, like from the morning until the late evening when you're ready to go to bed. The masculinity, we can't go without this. We can't go without this. And it can easily slip away if estrogen's too high and DHT isn't high enough. And the anabolism, I mean, yeah, well, what's TRT without the ability to be stronger at the gym and go lift weights and round out your shoulders and build the chest and have a good time doing it? I want you guys to function the best, most optimal way possible on TRT because I know how possible it is in my line of work. Look, if you need to hire me for this, whether it's sexual function resolution, I mean, that's 99% of the work. Erection issues, libido issues, sensation issues on TRT, or from the use of 5-alpha reductase inhibitors like hair loss drugs, hire me. Right now, it is 50% off. That means you're saving $2,400, you're saving $4K, you're saving $8K, depends on the package. You're saving thousands of dollars on the one-on-one coaching where it's full protocol architecture. Whatever the sexual dysfunction problem that you're having, we'll get it resolved. If we need to switch to cream, we'll switch to cream. If we need to dial you in on cypionate and AI, we'll do that. If we need a DHT derivative, we'll do that. Bottom line is I am a specialist and this is what I do. And you can hire me in under a minute, livecortex.com. We're on the fact-finding call as soon as that day or the next day. And then we begin. And it's 50% off right now. Code for that is Cyber50. Links and codes are down in the description of this video. Look, if you need to circumvent the clinic and go at this by yourself and get any compound that you might need, test of all that. Well, what if you need prop? What if you want to try test gel? What if you need more Proviron? Proviron fucking solves people's problems on TRT sometimes. Anything else you can think of, it's on the source list. Just go grab it. It's 50% off right now. Code for that is on the screen, and it is Cyber50. Mastering Testosterone Cream. This is the official rule book right? It's the official video course that explains how to achieve libido and erections at a super satisfactory level on testosterone cream. I built it, I wrote it, I filmed it. It is all of my knowledge from coaching infused in a video course. 50% off. Get it down below. Okay, that has been the conclusion of the video, and I'm happy that you were here. Like the video, yeah. We really need folks to like the video because it makes a huge difference. And sub to the channel. I think we just hit 30. God, I gotta redo that or hold on. God. Brain is like shut off today. I don't know what's happening. What is wrong with this chair? God damn it. Like the video, please. Yeah, honestly. It makes a huge difference. Sorry I had to go through that. Sub to the channel. We're now 36K and growing, and we the mic. Forgot the mic again for the 28th time in the last 28 days. Let me just grab it. Slip my mind was all. Give me this! The video's over. Thanks for watching, boys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Yes, please like the video. It really does make a huge difference to how YouTube spreads our content out through the algorithm. So I'd appreciate it if you would just smash the like button there, brethren. Sub to the channel, 36K and growing. Yeah, we'll be at 40K soon, 50K, 75K, 100K, and I want you on board for that. Much more content to come. Otherwise, kick ass, rock on. Again, Cyber Week extension. Everything is 50% off. The code is down in the description of this video. Every product. So go get some product. Cheap. And I'll talk to you boys on the next one.